I'm MK. That over there, that is Dan. And you are listening, watching, participating. No one's.
I'd like to think at least one person's.
Whilst watching this?
Yeah.
What the
Would you not though?
I don't know, they can do what they want. You know what I mean?
I think that's what I'm getting at. You can honestly do what you want.
You can. And you can't stop it either.
What are you going to do?
If someone wants to jerk the gurk, what?
Tickle
Watching
tickle
Boys
the
Cry 2.
pickle.
It'd be a sad
Crank.
crank.
Boys crank too.
Patreon right now. That's not happening. I'm a dad.
What? Cranking?
I was alluding to cranking on camera. Say cranking more.
You don't need to say it. I mean, show it. You turn round.
What?
Put that chair in the corner.
That's butters.
You cook.
That seems to be a big meme at the minute.
Cook holding.
I think there's a lot of cooking going on in the world. There is. How do people do it?
It blows me away.
Be like this, be like, yeah, you're right, mate. Do you fancy coming around and my wife while I watch and in the corner?
Is that not fascinating to you? I find it utterly fascinating that people can do it. The breadth of different sexual fantasies that people have that we just cannot even fathom.
Yeah.
Cranking, for one. That lone wolf right now.
Have you finished yet?
Can we get on with things?
Anyway, Boys Cry 2, welcome. Welcome
Come.
to the cabin. Welcome to the cabin.
We're just trying to help you. This lone individual.
And we still don't have any tissues in here to assist you with it. So. Kleenex, come on board.
I've actually been reaching out on social media to a few tissue vendors.
Charming.
Do they still a thing?
Charming. With a panda on the... Was it a panda or was it a koala?
There was a panda one though. It's like a new brand though.
How is it?
But nothing. People like to ignore us. I hope it's one of them stories when... You know when... it's when you get like sports stars and like actors and script writers.
Yeah.
When they approach like agents and production companies and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Telling people that they're the next big thing. And then they make a break. Yeah. And then those people who turn them down or ignored them get fired.
Yes.
That's what I hope this is.
Wow.
Kleenex social media manager.
Can you turn that heater off?
Are you going to make me freeze to death?
Mate, it's hot. That is. Turn it off.
Turn it off. Like a light. It's my Book of Mormon fans out there.
Between that and the coffee, oh, can't breathe.
You can shit yourself again.
Not quite. Not yet. Although this is my 4th cup today.
We need it though. These are like late nights, early mornings
Yeah, they are.
with your brood.
My brood, yeah. They got up quite late today, actually, which is quite nice.
Although they did just burst in again like yesterday morning.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Could
It
have
is
been
what
doing
it is.
Could have been cranking. Hates it.
Yep. Right. Right, today, Dan, going off our conversation a few weeks ago, we're going to talk about the expectations of life growing up, the expectations of life now, and yeah, just the expectations going forward with our lives, whether that is linked with our mental health, whether it's linked to just our life in general. So, what did you want to be when you grew up?
What did I want to be when I grew up? I feel like I wanted to be so many different things. Like when I was young, for the longest time, I feel like I wanted to be a chef.
A chef?
Which is wild. Yeah. Like when I was young, I'd like cook at my nan's, like my aunties. I just like cook stuff.
Used to cook.
Yeah.
What, your nan and granddad's?
Yeah.
Bit weird.
Cooking.
Nah, cook.
Cook. Sat in the corner on my granddad's armchair.
Sorry, mate. A chef. So you wanted to be Gordon Ramsay when you grow up?
Yeah.
Okay.
But then, you just grow out of them. Then through secondary school, I wanted to be a games developer because I enjoy playing games.
Oh, okay.
Didn't understand the first thing about what it
There's a
meant
lot that goes into it.
to be yeah.
Not the entertaining stuff either.
I don't have a kind of artistic bone in my body when it comes to drawing and things like that. So, that side of things was a complete no-go.
Would you ever consider writing?
No, I'll come on to it because then, things developed and then I kind of realised, I've done it all my life, but, I just love film. I love watching films. I always have, but I also love playing games. But I think it's the story side of thing that I love when it comes to games, which feeds into the kind of, the storytelling aspect of films. So then, kind of wanted to make films. I guess to some degree I'm still there. We met through education for filmmaking. In college we were doing media. University we studied film. And I guess we're still there. It's still kind of linked, with the stuff that I do now. Making documentaries, short documentaries, that type of thing. And kind of, I don't do it too much anymore with like full-time work and other responsibilities, but kind of wrote films, screenplays in my own time at certain points of my life. And what about you? What did you want to be?
I think from the age of 8, I always wanted to be a wrestler. And that's always been, that was the objective for a long time. And to a certain level, I did achieve it.
I wouldn't say to a certain level, I'd say you did it.
Yeah, I did it. Got paid for it as well. Wrestled in lots and lots of countries, and wrestled in some really credible places. So I felt like that dream was achieved to a degree.
Wrestled some huge names.
Yeah, who are currently big names in like WWE now.
Go on, just name them.
Yeah, like Finn Balor, Sami Zayn. People like that.
Don't be modest about it, mate. Shout it from the rooftops.
Yeah. Rockstar Spud. Done segments with Kevin Owens.
We know you're watching, Jay.
Yes. Share it, please. But no, to a certain degree, like it's what I wanted to do for the longest time, and it's only up until like the past couple of years where I'm like, maybe this isn't what I'm meant to be doing. It's because I stopped putting everything into it, and life happens, children. It's just like I'm over the age of 30 now, and like most people don't hit their prime till like 40s, but it's just like you kind of got to weigh up in life what you're actually gonna put your eggs into, and if you can't give something your everything, then I feel like it's time to reevaluate and look at different avenues in life, and that's okay. It's like I said to you last week, it's your 20s are there for developing what you thought you wanted to do and working out what you want to do, and then your 30s are there to move on with what you feel like you're good at and what is actually obtainable. But like I feel like growing up, me and you always wanted to, in the nicest way, break away from where we were from and that life, because we are from like a low class area of the West Midlands, and and for some people that life is okay, and that's perfectly normal, and that goes for like wherever you live, wherever you do. Some people have different ambitions or no ambitions.
People are content.
and some people are okay with that. But I feel like me and you always wanted more and wanted out of that environment. There's a lot of pub nightlife, and that's what men did after work, while women either worked or didn't work, just looked after 70,000 kids and just got by. And I don't feel like me and you are people who are comfortable with just getting by and having little ambition and little expectations of ourselves. Am I right in saying that?
100%. I never wanted to settle. I never wanted to remain in a cycle that then I guess my kids would do and then their kids would do. But we've seen for generations, where we're from. And like you said, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want, if that's what you're content in. But we wanted more. Yeah. We wanted to build our lives. We wanted to build ourselves up, our names, our families. So yeah, we wanted more. That's why we chased our dreams. And with that, it's incredibly difficult. It's never easy to chase dreams.
No. They come with a lot of sacrifices.
Incredible sacrifices, both personally, with your loved ones. Yeah. Even in times of even seeing family. When breaking away. Not to use the word breaking away, but almost moving away. That limits the time you can see your family, see your friends, that type of thing. But then, there's the kind of mental impacts of doing this, chasing your dreams, trying to achieve things. Because like for me, I've spoken about it before. 2018, 2019 was probably the most difficult year of my life so far. Complete mental break, quit my job, moved back into my parents, and for over a year, had absolutely zero money.
You and Amelia had a break.
Yeah, we weren't together anymore, and yeah, I was rock bottom. Didn't have anything, didn't have any prospects, and then the dream started to creep back in. And that's when I kind of dedicated that year to my dream, which was screenplay writing. Yeah. I locked myself away quite literally for a year and just wrote. And it's a lonely place to be in. I did one of them with you. We wrote a screenplay together. Yeah. But it's probably one of my only sources of human contact. Was doing that with you. But then that's no good, just sitting on these projects and not doing anything with them. So then I dedicated so much time to trying to get these screenplays out there, get them read by, producers, agents, that type of thing. And, whilst I was having conversations with producers, people reading the scripts, ultimately, it didn't work out. You put so much time and energy into this. I feel like towards the end of that year, even though I call it kind of the dream that saved me because it was coming from the back of the worst year of my life, taking myself out of a situation where I wanted to kill myself to then the only thing that I'd be thinking about from the moment that I woke up to the moment that I go to sleep was writing, my projects. At the end of that period, when I realised that it was just getting nowhere, that might have been even more difficult to take. Because I feel like I'd just spent so much time crafting and producing these labours of love for then no one to want them or to reject them over and over again was soul destroying, heartbreaking. And I mean, I still look at them now. I still read them from time to time, in I guess, a better frame of mind. And I always think to myself, oh, what if?
The thing is with that, by the way, like, you wrote some amazing films. Like, one of the films that you wrote, I feel could do really well if the right eyes saw it.
Yeah.
And I just think with something like that, again, sorry if I'm all over the place here, but like I had no idea that you were in that frame of mind at that point. I thought it was an ultra positive thing, getting all this time, because there's me having my first child, and there's me thinking you're positive because you've got your little outlet and you've got all this time to write in. But I had no idea that you had those feelings. But yeah, the films are amazing. And the thing is with creative stuff like screenwriting, things like that, it's hard to take a knock on your confidence. And that can happen for, years and years. But it's hard to take. It doesn't make it any easier. It could be 2 weeks and you hear nothing and then your confidence drops. It takes so much strong will to stick with it.
It's, the way that I did it and the way that I came out of it, I guess I was in such a naive frame of mind. Because I thought, I'm going to write a screenplay, I'm going to finish a screenplay, and I'm going to send it to people.
Someone's going to buy it.
And they not even buy it, read it.
Yeah.
The hardest thing in the world is to get someone to read it. It's almost impossible, when you don't have contacts.
It's who you know in the industry. It really is.
Networking, that type of things, knowing who to go to, and that it's an incredibly difficult and gatekept process. So, I mean, I realise that now. I realise that I could go for the next 10, 15 years of writing and have no one read it. And then in 15 years' time, it can take one person to open an email and that's it. All of that was worth it. But, that dedicated time that I did, I was so naive in thinking that, okay, I'm going to write this, then someone's going to read it. So I don't believe that I was in the right frame of mind when I was doing it. Almost doing it for the right reasons. The process of writing them was exactly what I needed.
Exhilarating.
I can't describe the feeling of finishing a screenplay. For me, finishing a screenplay, clicking save, and then reading it through, knowing that you've just finished that piece of work.
Yeah.
Absolute labour of love. It is just you on that page. There is no better feeling. Makes me well up thinking about it. But then I didn't need to then seek to do something with those projects.
Yeah.
What I needed is to write them, because it brought me out of where I was. It got me through that incredibly difficult time of my life, which, I mean, I look back and I'm lucky to got out of it. Because I was at the bottom of the barrel. Then I didn't need to try and capitalize on what I did.
Yeah. Because
those works saved me. So that is all they should have been. But then to then try and fulfill a dream on the back of them, 100% should have done it. Should not have done it. Because then it just took me right back to square one. And then that process of writing all of them didn't, that feeling was gone. Because then I felt like a failure.
Yeah.
Which, again, it's incredibly naive.
Yeah, because you're not.
No, I mean, the success of it is that I'd got those things down out of my mind and I'm still alive. Yeah. as stupid as that is to say, the success is that I'm still there at the end of those 4 screenplays and I'm still alive to read them. Because it so easily could have ended badly. Yeah. So that's what I should have used that for, rather than chasing a dream naively. Recognize what those projects meant at the time and not using them to fulfill a dream, because I was desperate.
Yeah.
Because that was the only reason to be sending them out and trying to get them, sold, was for money. Yeah. Because I was flat out broke, not minus money. Big Dwayne talks about having $7 in his bank account. Friend.
Try minus 7 bags. in the hole.
-7 Bags Productions.
Which is crazy, you know, but I feel like a lot of lessons were made.
I'm intrigued, mate, to know. I feel like it's a strange dynamic with you because essentially you fulfilled your dream to some degree.
To some degree. Like, I'd be lying if my dream wasn't to say that I opened WrestleMania as the Intercontinental Champion. Do you know what I mean? Because that was the dream. Like, but not everyone's going to do it. And could I have done it? Yes. I believe so. I really feel like I could have. But when I should have, I didn't put the work in. And when I wanted to put the work in, it was too late. But that's life. Do you know what I mean? That's a lesson. That's a harsh lesson I had to learn.
So it's almost like, did you deserve it?
Yeah. And I'm okay with that now. There was a time when I could have. I didn't. So I have to deal with that. Do you know what I mean? It's for me to have, like, before when I first had Sydney, my son, like, I was still wrestling, but I started to grow to hate it. You know, through confidence issues, insecurities. A big thing that happens in wrestling. Wrestlers are very, very insecure people. And it's a very insecure business. And it can eat you alive if you let it, which I did, which I forced myself to hate it, and I talked myself out of the ring. Claiming that, like, I didn't love it anymore, And I do love it because I do. I do. I don't think I'll never stop loving professional wrestling. It's just the way it is.
You made me love it again.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was a big fan when I was a kid. You know, I watched it every week, you know, years. And then, I guess from, like, secondary school into college, didn't watch anything at all. But then we met. And then I think it was living with you. You made me love it again. Just the way that we'd kind of, you know, consume the product in a way that we'd analyze it almost like a film.
Yeah.
You know, from the storytelling aspect of things, like you made me fall in love with wrestling again.
Yeah, it's an escape. It's a unique escape, you know. And I think if people accept it for what it is, it can be art and it can be great. So it's a movie at the end of the day. But yeah, I came to the terms with that of just accepting that. It was quite recently, actually, because, like, a big part of me was like, I'm going to give it one last shot. You know, I'm only 31. I've got a solid 5 to 10 years to try and make stuff happen. But, you know, it's difficult being a dad. Like, you have to make that choice and sacrifice with wrestling. Like, you're either on the road, working every town, getting every bit of experience that you can, sacrificing all that time with your kids, with your wife, and then potentially sabotaging that for your dream. And I feel like there's a point where, you know, I could have had it, I didn't. What gives me the right now to be selfish on my kids, to go off and achieve, like, that dream and rob them of that time, you know? And sometimes you just got to leave it behind.
Would you say, because you're a parent now, it's almost more about their dreams?
Yeah.
Than yours?
Absolutely. Do I want to be in a better place financially? Yeah. And I will make that happen. But in other areas of my life that I'm passionate about, and I feel like eventually that will happen. I'm going to, you know, manifest that and make that happen. But yeah, it's time with your kids. You're never getting that back, especially in their younger years. No, not any years, to be honest. Time is time, you know.
There's so many more things to come with your kids, you know, so many different events, milestones.
It is what it is, but sometimes you just have to suck it up and just accept life for what it is.
I think you can look back and genuinely say that you achieved your dream. You know, what you did, the people that you've worked with, the places that you've been. It's incredible.
A lot of cool life experiences, man.
Straight up. 100%. And even like the stories and the memories that span from those things while you were in different countries outside of the ring. Yeah. It's such like a rich story with rich experiences.
I did so much in my 20s. My 20s were fulfilled. Like I did a lot of cool stuff in my 20s. Very, very proud of that. And it's funny, like on the back end of my 20s, I became a dad. Kind of bookmarked my 20s out, like the most monumental times of my life happened in my 20s. You know, it's great. I don't regret anything. That's the thing. Like, I've come to learn that as well, is whatever's happened in my life has happened, you know?
It's incredible. So where do you kind of see your dreams now? And I think you said something to me recently which was incredibly poignant when you reflected on your wrestling dream and you almost put it to bed.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. Talk through it again. It sounded to me like it was almost the birth of a new dream.
Yeah, okay. I know what you mean. So, the passion I feel about creating this content, this podcast with you, you know, this brand, this message that we're trying to send to people, I get as giddy and as excited about this as I did about wrestling. You know, I get that fire in my belly before we press record. It's like I'm going at the curtain again, you know. And this has become a huge passion of mine. And the dream for me personally now has to be, as long as I am doing something that I love, the money will come. And that's the way I think, and that's the positivity I'm using with myself moving forward. I'm not going to second guess it. Everything else will fall into place if you're passionate and you work hard. And that's what I've come to learn.
You said something to me in 2018, which I think was almost like a catalyst for me to drag. I don't know why I'm getting emotional talking about this. It was almost a catalyst that started my resurgence from the situation that I was in. You just sent me a picture and it said, do something today that your future self will thank you for. And that's all you said. That's all you sent me. And that's when I first started to follow that dream. And every single time that we press record on this podcast, every time that we receive an email from someone, every comment that we get that is, you know, a kind of testament of how we've helped someone or we've had an impact on someone who has been struggling, all I think about is that quote that you sent me. Because exactly what you've just said, you know, as long as you're doing something that you enjoy and you're getting the enjoyment out of it, it feels like we're chasing a dream right now. Everything else will come. Don't worry about it. Every single time that we finish an edit and I watch it back, it feels like those moments when I used to read the scripts back.
Yeah.
So for me, now, this is the dream. And I'm not going to look at it as... I'm not going to look that there's some kind of endpoint where we need to be. I'm not going to look at it as that, you know, we need this to be on this platform, or we need this sponsor, or this isn't going to be successful unless it gets this many thousand views. Yeah. Right now, in this studio, sat at this desk, talking into this mic, this is the dream.
It's been a mad journey, and it's literally only just beginning. Our physical health and mental health, although we like we still check in. It's just obviously we're going to have hurdles on some weeks or some days. But I feel like using this as a therapy has helped tremendously, and waking up to seeing comments, and likes and things like that. It's just really motivating and encouraging, and it makes you feel like you have a purpose, and, to make a difference at this time in this world is so important, We live in such a negative world where people are quick to, put people down and to cancel people for something as little as a joke, or people are just so negative these days. And I just hope people can just be open and just share as much as you can and just live in this just one union of just positivity and happiness,
Don't ever feel like you're alone with the way that you're feeling. Don't ever feel ashamed of the way that you're feeling. Please open up, share. We'll say what we always used to say. We understand that not everyone has someone, but you have us. Yeah. Comment on whatever you're watching or listening to this on. Drop us a comment. Tell us how you're feeling. If you need to get anything off your mind, our DMs are always open, whether that be on Instagram, TikTok. Drop us an email, boyscry2podcast@gmail.com, and we are there at the other end for anyone. And that's even you, Mr. Cranker.
Guess what? Guess what?
What?
My birthday next week.
It's next week?
Next week. You got me a present.
I need to get something.
Huh?
What?
What was that?
I need to get something.
You better do. On that note, remember, guys.
On that note,
what?
You ain't getting off
I'm
that
signing
easy.
off.
Says the who didn't get me anything. On that note.
It's coming. Not you!